Kristin Reitter.
Hollis Welsh.
Kristin Reitter is in the house. This is such a treat. Woo, 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 woo. Kristin Reitter, everybody. She is on the Open That Door podcast and YouTube video thing that we're doing now. And I am totally thrilled to see my longtime friend, Kristin.
Long time. How
I,
are you?
I'm
First
good.
of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It is an honor to be here.
Mm.
And how the heck are you?
I know, right? I am great. We were just chatting. We chatted for 2 seconds before we hopped on because we want to have our conversation as part of this bigger conversation. But I'm great. It's been a big year of discomfort
Yeah,
for me personally. And that's not a bad thing, but lots of inner transformation has been happening.
absolutely. You are right on time with the astrology. Well, and you're a Libra.
I am a Libra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the South Node is asking all of us right now with these eclipses to let go of relationships that are no longer serving us with ourselves and others. It's just interesting how the nodes they retrograde. That is their ultimate goal. They go backwards. So, it with us releasing relationships that we're like, hey, this isn't working for me anymore because
Mm,
I got to get right with myself, which is the
mm,
backwards way that many of us have been taught to be in the world. But what's interesting is with the South Node shifting in July of 2022, it went into Libra, and we're starting to notice our relationships that were out in the world as it's in the upper degrees of Libra. And then it goes down to our one on one relationships in the
okay.
teens. And now, where we're at with the astrology, the North Node is I think it's at 4 right now. Well, no, Black Moon Lilith at 4, and the North Node is at 8, or the South Node is at 8, which means the North Node is in Aries, which is what we're all up to creating.
I
So,
see.
what the South Node is what we're letting go of. And it's hard
Mm.
to let go of relationships that you're like, I thought we were besties forever. And
Well,
it's just like, what?
yeah. So
Oh,
interesting. Okay, so if you all haven't guessed, Kristin Reitter
sorry.
is an astrologer. If you didn't,
Say
if
that.
you weren't able to ascertain, because girl, this is what I love about you. You dive right in. I love it so much. And you and I met, so I did the math. 21 years ago, girl.
Honey, you did the years. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
was like 2003 or
Yep.
2005. It was 2003.
It was
Well,
2003.
this is how I met cutesy woo, amazing, fabulous Hollis Welsh. I
Mm,
knocked on her door while she was
mhm.
eating lunch so I could look at her cute studio apartment in
Yes.
Studio City and take over her lease.
I love it. Our paths literally, I was leaving the place, you were coming into it in Los Angeles, Studio City, and I loved you the second I opened the door.
Oh, it's like we were long lost friends, just so
Yes,
excited. And I think we talked for like over an hour that day. We
we
like
did.
hung out. We were
We did. We were just fast, instant friends.
yeah, it's like,
I,
okay, how
eh,
are you?
I know, exactly. And I love that. And we were both more in the performing arts at that time. And you
Mm.
may be more, I feel like I've, for now officially kind of retired. I say kind of. I've retired from my acting career currently.
Yes, I have left that. 2020 was the final nix in the bud for
Okay.
that. Or like, no, I was done after that. I was still
Yeah.
doing my one woman shows
Right.
in North Carolina where I live. But I've always vacillated between the healing and then
Hmm.
the performing, the healing and the performing. And I always had this feeling that I had to walk away from one in order to pursue the
Hmm.
other.
Hmm.
And in the magic and career that I've formed for myself now, the real thing is if I can't sing, I think I might self implode, therefore blow up the planet. So,
Which is,
so
you've been able to incorporate it into your healing work. So tell us about it because you're a sound healer.
I
And
am.
And let me just preface this because, not many people know, this would kind of, this is the realm that people call maybe woo woo or spiritual or new age or just kind of this whole approach to healing in these alternative ways. And I just want to preface this by saying part of my transformation over the last year has really been shedding off layers of patriarchal kind of perception
Oh, you
in a
mean the
way that
lies, Hollis? I'll just call it the lies.
she
The
said it, ladies and
we've
gentlemen.
been lying to people about. Let me see. Let me look at my wristwatch here for your podcast, which is
I'm
a night crystal, and say, oh, you mean about 95% of everything we've been lied
Yeah,
to?
well, okay. Her words, not mine. I'm much more diplomatic about.
Go after Hollis. She's working on her divine justice as a Libra.
Exactly. So I love that you can, as individual as we all are, I love that you can pigeonhole everybody by, sort of the signs that we fall within.
Yeah,
Well,
well, it's not pigeon. I mean, this is something that all of humanity has been
yes.
experiencing. And, that's the gift of astrology and studying it and following it and looking for upcoming transits is to realize that we all have this state
Hmm.
of consciousness in us
Yeah.
somewhere. And it's about learning about it, navigating it. So, we can put it in our own
Yeah.
evolutionary ascension
Right.
process so that we don't lose our minds. A lot of people are having a hard
Hmm.
time right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But
Let me.
yeah, go.
Oh, you finish. You were about to say something.
Oh, well, the sound healing that I got
Yes.
into happened in your old apartment.
Amazing.
Yeah.
2 decades ago.
Yeah. 2 decades ago. Isn't that amazing? Like
Did you did you find, because you are a singer and you have an extraordinary gift in that you were so able to express yourself on so many levels and so many people and parts and voices and characteristics, and there's so much talent that comes through you in so many just unique, enjoy, like entertaining ways. So then to You're welcome.
I'm like, thank you. I'm like, it's because my soul is old as dirt
It is
and
old,
experienced so many past lifetimes. It's
right?
like, and I think that's where the performing really assisted me in accessing those, in this current prior life, like
Yeah.
you referred to your performing life as a
Mm,
prior. And there's so many of us that have experienced this transformation, especially as we became moms or got older or all of those things.
yeah.
But yeah, the sound healing for me was I had found a crystal singing bowl at a woo woo. I'm quoting
Mm,
podcast, a woo woo new age thing
yeah.
in Arizona, and I had heard someone playing one of these, and I literally had to just stop
Mm.
everything I was doing and go see where this sound was coming from. And then I told the gentleman that I was a sound healer. He's like, oh, well, then you need a
Mm.
G because that goes with the throat. And
Ah.
in my opinion, that's not so much the case where, oh, this chakra is A or this is A flat,
Mhm,
because we all have ascended since then in our
mhm.
frequency. But yeah, they shipped it to our little apartment in
Yes,
Studio City, and I
I was there.
started playing with it, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Was it like a deep alignment where everything just kind of like came into focus?
Yeah, it's kind of like you know when you have those moments in life where everything just like slows almost to a freeze and your heart just comes online and everything just kind of clicks into a
Mm,
synchronicity and a
mm.
flow and an allowing. And you're like, whoa, this feels delicious. So it,
Yeah.
it is a soul calling for sure.
I love that. And that is as we shed the old kind of the structured, ordered way of saying, this is the box, this is how life is supposed to be. These are the appropriate things, these are inappropriate. Um, this is proper, this is improper, all of that. And let those fade away. In the openness that creates, there's all of this vibrancy and currency of being that can be undefined, and yet it doesn't have to be chaotic or out of control. Messy's okay, but it's not that it's not contained. I think we're changing the containers in which we carry our souls or our energy or our life force, you know,
Yes. I mean,
figuratively.
figuratively. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, we're on Earth, and in my beliefs is, the soul is a massive consciousness,
Hmm.
right? And in the work that I do, and in this ascension process that we are all walking each other through right now, we have existences in many dimensions.
Hmm.
We're becoming multidimensional. We're remembering
Yeah.
that we are
Yeah.
multidimensional beings. Dormant DNA is coming online. All of our DNA contains the story that we said we would write with Mother, Father, God, Universe
Mm.
in this incarnation, in this ascension time.
Mm.
And it's, our divine feminine in all of
Hmm.
us is awakening. And that's where she is the container, and the navigational guidance can be the
Mm.
balanced masculine,
Yeah.
to guide. And
Yes.
I think we knowing that we all have the masculine and feminine, and
Hmm.
knowing how suppressed the feminine has been
Yes.
for eons now, and knowing that that was ultimately going to come to an end,
Of
but not know
course.
how.
Hmm.
The house and things I leave up to universe, because that's going to be written way better than my
Yeah.
damaged ego ever would be. We're all coming out of the dark and seeing the wounded ego, where we've
Hmm.
all been conditioned, where we've
Hmm.
all been lied to. And the sooner we all step into empowering ourselves
Hmm.
with taking responsibility of what we said yes to, then
Hmm.
victim consciousness goes away. Then
Hmm.
we feel even more empowered, and then more fear comes up to
Yeah.
be released. And that's the
Uh,
dance of, I think, allowing these energies. And the new scientists are now
I know.
saying plasma is in our field. It's been here for a while, and the plasma is the new it's the new unknown that
Hmm.
we're all dealing with, that is facilitating more gentleness,
Mm.
allowing
Yeah.
forgiveness, compassion, and on ourselves as well.
Mm.
Self-forgiveness is huge.
Yeah.
Like, you can't beat yourself up for something you didn't know, but as soon as you know about it,
Then you need to do something about it.
yeah.
And I love this so much. And this, and I'll be honest, a lot of this kind of conversation is not mainstream. And so this might, for people listening or watching that some of this might sound like, I don't, I'm lost, or I'm not sure.
Someone's talking such another language that
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. That's what it is. But the gist is that our feminine energy that's in
Mhm,
all of us, regardless of gender, has
mhm.
been suppressed. And we agreed to do it for many, many, many eons.
Yeah.
Now that agreement is wearing thin because it's not working anymore. And
The
so,
quantum is basically up,
yeah.
is why
And
this is all going on.
and it feels there's a lot of fear because the unknown it opens that door to our potential, but we don't know necessarily even what that potential is sometimes, and then the journey to get there feels dark and scary.
Exactly, because we don't know how powerful we are, because we've been giving it to everybody else our whole lifetime.
Amen.
Like, oh
Amen.
gosh. So how it, and that's a lot to navigate,
Hmm.
and understanding that our feelings are a technology and a superpower. They are nothing to be ashamed of,
Hmm.
to look away from, to stuff down.
Hmm.
That's also stepping into the driver's seat of taking our power and ownership of our feelings, and
Hmm.
bringing that unlimited consciousness
Hmm.
possibility into our hearts, so
Yeah.
that we can, find our people, find
Yeah.
who's on this journey with us. And
Yeah.
it's okay if it doesn't resonate with everybody else. We are all
Absolutely.
here
Hmm.
to honor that unique frequency or vibration that
Hmm.
we are, and stand in our own truth. And it's okay if your truth is different from today to tomorrow.
It
You
is.
know, maybe you got just an inkling of a different perspective or information, or you received some more plasma or a
Yeah.
dream. I think that's the thing that I love about doing sound work, is
Mm.
that it's limitless.
Mm.
And one thing for certain, I mean, I work with 8 singing bowls. I do tuning forks. I work with drums,
Mm.
rattles, help rattle out any of that
Yeah.
doubt as I keep it very simple, but there's no limit to it. There's no religion. There's no pro. It's just frequency, and whatever your guides and my guides, which
Mm.
is also us in
Mhm.
other dimensions or levels, guiding me to be the best facilitator for your nervous system, for
Yeah.
for the right and left hemisphere brains to balance. And you know, I did a sound bath for my apartment complex a couple of weekends ago. Thumbs up.
I know. I love
Yeah.
Zoom thinks that's
Yeah.
awesome.
There were some people that had never experienced sound healing, let alone my work.
Hmm.
Hollis, I haven't been normal anything
Right.
forever a day because I'm not here to do that.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yes.
But, everyone afterwards, people that had never experienced any of it, their eyes were clear.
Mm.
They could take deep breaths. They could, you know, from their
Mhm.
heart give an honest and slow compliment, or want to
Mm.
share something from their
Mm.
heart of their experience. And they're just more open.
Mm.
More open we are is that container of the feminine,
Yeah.
right? Where things can be birthed.
Yes. Yes. And the birthing process, we're both mothers. We know, it's not
Oh,
a marshmallow. I mean, it's a journey. You
it,
grow a human being inside these precious life building bodies that are ours as women.
yes.
And the birthing, just the whole process. I chose to do mine naturally, both of my daughters, and so just to have the awareness of every second of that process
Yeah.
is
And
amazing.
it was so, I mean, my pregnancy, I was like, God, I'm so fat, because of all my musical theater and
Oh,
performing
oh,
programming, you
interesting.
gotta do that. And I've worked with children my whole life, whether in LA I had a yoga practice with
Mhm.
kids, or I'd nanny in between gigs or whatever. And I was like, wow. And I was so hard on myself, and I
Mm.
wanted naturally. I was 40 when
Yeah.
I had my son. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, my cervix said, honey, this is a one-way exit. We're going another
You're going
way.
the wrong way. Fair
So
enough.
yeah. Oh yeah. That was my journey. And earwax and grief. They don't tell you about that in
Oh,
motherhood.
interesting. Yeah, they don't. Nor do they tell us about menopause. I mean, thank God for the new warriors that are bringing to light, like, hey, how about let's have a conversation
About
about
yam cream,
what?
about yam cream and castor oil,
Yeah, yeah,
and ashwagandha, and balancing your hormones as the divine
exactly.
feminine god is coming in. And
It's
we're like,
amazing.
oh, wait, do I still have to wear some pants? Can I wear them under a skirt?
So, but think of even my mother, who is she has her PhD, but she's an RN, basically, is her, foundation. And I just remember her ability to just not give over to the feminine things were just sort of like, you just kind of dealt with them and pushed them aside so you could stay on that track of
Okay.
achievement. And
Right.
she was a single mother, so getting those
Oh,
bills paid and
yeah.
raising us to the best of her ability, and then her, just the decades and generations of women that we just sort of dealt with all this stuff, and still continued to then show up in a world that was really built around the male experience and what served the male. Now, let me say, I love men, I love women,
Oh,
and I
I
love
love it.
all. Yes,
Love
and I
it.
know. And so this is not about, this is
No,
different. Patriarchy is not a dig at men. And I think that's a fair distinction since we brought it up. And we
absolutely.
all have participated in patriarchy.
All have participated in patriarchy, and there's a lot of men that don't like
Don't
this
like it.
system either,
Correct.
because and as this feminine energy awakens in them as well, it's empowering to feel your feelings. And like,
Yeah.
how do we all come together? My, we are not, it's so interesting we're having this conversation because there's a Mars Venus square coming up in August, and a square in astrology is a need to redirect. It's not one, it's not the other.
Right.
And I've been using for your podcast, I've been using this visual a lot for people. It's not men versus women, it's not right versus left, it's
Mm-hmm.
not black versus white. We all need to come together, and I'm bringing my hands together to make a point above those
Mm-hmm.
diversity points, and that's the unity consciousness
Mm-hmm.
and the coming together of neutral point,
Mm-hmm.
which is the core of our toroidal
Mm-hmm.
field. Your guests are going to have to like Google some
They're
things.
gonna, yeah, get a dictionary out, folks.
Yeah, yeah, but coming together,
I love
you
it.
know, there's so, especially as this election season comes up, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us astrologers are looking at the astrology. Y'all, it is buckle the seatbelt
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
and really focus on our hearts as a country, as a humanity,
Yeah.
remove the blinders, acknowledge where we were wrong,
Mm.
take that responsibility. But come fall, a lot of us astrologers are like, we don't even know if there's gonna be an election because there are so many. The astrology has never been so intense. And
I
this
can imagine.
new moon we just had last Sunday really amped it up.
Mm.
So this isn't to spread fear either. This is why we study. This is why I study
Mm-hmm.
astrology and help my clients navigate really tough aspects like the Mars Venus square, you know, the quote unquote bad guys, and
Mm.
that's a big quote unquote because
Yeah.
we've all been men in our last life. We've all been women. We've
Mm.
all played the bad guy. We've all played the good guy. These are all things, if you've ever gotten a past life regression, it integrates that, like, oh my God, forgive myself. I don't want to do that again. But
Mm-hmm.
realizing that we've all played both sides can assist in coming together,
Mm. Yeah.
right? Like
Absolutely.
that's really the ultimate goal, and it's going to be real interesting.
Well, it is ascension and it's evolution. Nick, my partner Nick, has studied Buddhism for many years, and he has and I don't know much about Buddhism, but there's some belief that they say, just assume that every person you meet was your mother in a past life, and
I,
if you literally are meeting your mother every time you meet somebody, and it changes the way you see them because to honor the mother is the human who gave you passageway into this lifetime. Like there's a sacredness, what regardless of your relationship with your mother, the act of being mothered was somebody made space to create a passageway for you to come onto this
yes,
planet, right?
absolutely. And Mother Earth,
Yeah.
Gaia, she
Yeah.
provides everything for us, and she is a go for this ascension time for the first time. Like y'all, I'm not normal. We've tried to flip this planet and get her to her rightful place in the galactic universe
I
forever.
love this so
And
much.
she is a go this time. So,
I
and that's also like the divine feminine, Mother God coming in, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing in this universe that does it by itself. And if it's trying to do it by itself, it's parasitic and needs
Mm.
some other creative force,
Yeah.
non-parasitic, to suck off of. Quite.
Well, and I translate that to say like there is no disconnection from, we're talking on a machine made by people invented by people. There's no separation. I go to the store and I buy food that were grown and brought to that store by people I can never solely do anything myself. I am reliant upon the next person in the chain, and it never ends. That connection is completely there. We're completely reliant upon one another. And we get to pretend, as humans, with an ego, we get to pretend that there's an us and a them. There's a
Yeah.
separation between, and what you're saying is actually, no, we're all, we're being called to come together and I guess reconnect with that awareness that we already have on some fundamental level, that we've
Absolutely.
never been separate.
Never. I mean, we've all breathed the same breath.
Yeah,
You
we
think
share the
of
same air.
your breath goes and it's gonna reach the other side of the planet one day, you know?
And it does. I think that is extraordinary about humanity and about life in general, that a plant, the energy that it releases, the breath we release, is shared by somebody on the other side of the world.
Like what? Hello? Wow.
Yeah,
That's magic.
it is
That's
magic.
magic, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
And it's the magic realm that I'm so interested in, because we've made it so, taboo, so silly, so out there, so fantastical. And, we've instead believed in just what we see is what we believe. And
this matter
yet,
and the 3D matter of
yeah, the 3D matter.
this popsicle suit.
Right, right. But, we used to think the earth was flat, for instance. And I mean,
Some people are fighting for the fact that it's
that is
flat.
true.
And I'm like, you know what? If I could ride a bicycle and take a boat and drive a car and do a thing and explore it for my own
Yeah,
and
proof.
see it and witness it, then
Yeah.
I might know. But, all of the technological advances, some good, some not so good, that have, been vying for our attention, our
Mm.
consciousness. And it's like, okay, which wolf are we going to feed in
Yeah.
that old
Amen.
parable, right?
It
And
is. It is. A lot of my work is about that exact thing. We have lots of beliefs within ourselves about our own adequacies or inadequacies, our worthiness, our unworthiness, um, our right to define our own path, or our agreement to take the path that's already been laid out for us. All of those are choices within us. And it's not to say it's easy to lean on one when you've grown up believing that the other one is true. If I believe I'm inadequate, it's really hard to just one day say, I'm adequate. I'm all good, but it's,
everything's fine.
yeah, exactly. Or I'm just whatever definition that and agreements we've sort of allowed to be the truth for us. There's always the invitation to step back and say, is that true for me? For me,
That
is
true? Oh
it?
my gosh, that reminds me of Byron Katie. I love her.
Yes,
I
yes,
just, is that true?
yes.
Is such, and is that true? Self-inquiry.
Mm,
I believe that. Is that true? That
yeah,
that can be something that is really powerful for people to use as a
yeah.
tool in the coming months as
Mm,
the media gets louder. We've got Jupiter in Gemini until May of next year. So that's really going to be expanding and amplifying the media coming at us, the market, all the outside
mm-hmm,
information, right? Mercury
mm,
just retrograded on Monday morning. So our minds are kind of getting a break right now to
mm.
review that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've had a break from I've just, the last few days have been kind of blissful. I've had a lot of breakthroughs, and and going back to the masculine and feminine, I believe, my new approach is my heart is boss and my head is servant, which
Yes.
is the opposite of what it's always been. The disconnect between my head and my heart, you just kind of grow numb to, after so many years of like listening to this in and denying this. I'm touching my heart right now. This
Okay.
being my heart. believe that that you've lost the connection, but it's there as soon as you're willing to turn inward.
Because when you start at the heart, that is where everything is.
Everything.
That is where everything is. And if you are having, there's so many gifted, amazing scientists, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton,
Mm-hmm.
they do heart math coherence,
Mm.
where, you can literally just place your hands on your heart, and even just doing 5 breaths can calm. And obviously, my sound healing helps balance those
Mm.
hemispheres to calm the mind. But
Mm.
that's where the external distractions of that technology, some of it has been designed to keep us
Yeah.
trapped in our
Yeah.
mind. And the more heart wisdom and compassion, realizing that we've all experienced this on some level or another, can assist in supporting the collective, because
Mm.
we are more light beings than
We are.
physical beings, especially as we are shifting into, like, we're becoming more light beings, which is
Mm.
also why a lot of this is happening now, because it's time.
It's time. And I recently realized, and I've known this my whole life, but I recently was allowed myself to realize I am a light worker.
Yes,
And
you are.
that is, yes, I am. And I've been one my whole life, but I didn't know what to do with it. It's terrified me. I learned it when I was pretty young, and then I just panicked and was like, well, let's just close down that shop because
It
that's too,
doesn't match the patriarchy or
not
the
at
false
all.
matrix.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
I'm
And
in, I'm like, do I save it? Because I'm interviewing you in a few weeks.
you are. Yes. And bring it on, baby. We're going to tell everybody where they can find you online before we get off
Oh,
here
no
today.
worries.
But
No worries. I'm just excited for another time to
yeah,
be with you.
me too. I know this is fantastic because it's so light work. I've known my purpose is to uplift humanity
Yes.
as many people as I can reach because we deserve it.
Yes.
Humanity deserves to go up to the next level. And we can
Yes.
do it now. We don't have to evolve in generations from now. Like it's the time is here and now. And that is not woo woo. That is
No.
literally stepping into our power, our peace, our purpose, our passion. And that's why I'm here. And as a light worker now, I want to make it mainstream. I want to not have this conversation be in the realm of like woo woo or out there. And not everybody is going to go as deep as you into this work and know all of the terminology and have
And that's
that deep
okay. And
passion. It's okay.
you don't have to know anything. You just
Exactly.
put your hands on your heart,
Yeah.
because it's happening whether you understand it or not.
Exactly.
Because everything in it's Tesla, everything in our universe is frequency and vibration.
It is.
And it's like it's that Ava Cassidy song. People get ready. There's a train a coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. You don't need anything. You just need to put your hands
Oh,
on your heart.
yes.
You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to go outside of yourself. You are here living and breathing in this incarnation.
Mm,
That is your ticket. You are your ticket.
mm,
You are your job.
mm.
Just doing that,
Yeah.
you're in.
You're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're already, you're baked, you're ready, there's nothing more to do. It's just that willingness to courageously step into the unknown, but it's not unknown to our deeper selves.
Right.
That path is actually very defined,
Yeah.
it's unfamiliar and kind of scary to our right brain kind of control, trying to put or left brain, I guess, trying to
Yeah.
put things into boxes that were built for us, right, that don't fit anymore. And the other thing I just want to say, as I get into my midlife and mature, I am ready to make my life really fun.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm a Leo rising. I have to have fun or I'll just start
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm 49. I'm almost 50 and I can kick and I What I look better. I feel like I look better now than
You,
I ever have.
you're
Like,
stunning. And I can attest, you've always been gorgeous, but you have I feel like I'm just starting. And I posted a photo yesterday of, like sunlit, like my lines were showing on my face. And I had a beautiful friend say, I'm messaging you instead of putting this right on Facebook. But like, amen, girl. You look, powerful and gorgeous. And it's clear you don't have Botox and all of that stuff. And I said, thank you. I just was so touched. And I said, I was proud to put that photo out because that is who I am. That my
yes,
power and my light and my beauty and my strength totally comes from within. And I think we're getting past all of the,
the facade,
blinders
the
of,
fakeness. Well,
yes,
those are the masks. Those are
yes,
the things. That's what's hidden
yeah,
us, right?
yes,
And
that is what,
we're now stepping into ready to be seen.
yeah,
So you're Pluto in Libra generation, as am I. Um,
okay,
and we're done being the doormats for the sake
yeah,
of balance anymore. It's
that's
like,
right.
oh, you know what? You didn't just step all over me. You shat upon
Yeah,
me.
right. Exactly. There was poopy
No
on your
more.
boots. And yes, it's so true. Just very accommodating. I've been very accommodating and non-threatening my entire life. I learned to become that pretty early on, and and yet I still was a threat sometimes to people. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like erasing myself. Yeah, I take all the edges off, and so the point is, I did nobody any favors by diminishing myself because I still showed up in ways that I was trying not to show up as. And when you just, ladies and the feminine led, just step into that glorious power and own it and shine your light because it really will change your world. And in that shift, it changes everybody's.
Everybody's. And, some people aren't going to like that, and that's okay. What you said in the beginning of this podcast, I'm really letting go of, and it sometimes when our ego gets afraid of that loss,
Mm,
the letting go is like, no, I gotta,
yeah, yeah.
who am I gonna be without this? And da 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 da.
Mm,
But the more we accept and allow even more letting go, the
mm,
easier this journey is
yeah,
going to be. More flexibility, more this.
yeah.
Don't watch the news, don't watch this, don't get off of the commercials that have, God, do you remember some of the great commercials of the 70s?
Oh my gosh.
Raise your hand if you're sure.
Yeah,
It's just like, oh my God, we grew up in like when that stuff was starting, so like,
I
whoa, but
know.
our parents dealt with it in the 50s. That's when it really
Oh yeah.
started.
And my mother was a perfect product of that nuclear family that looked really good on the outside. And they're, lovely people, but um, they had to do a lot of self-denial to maintain that image. And yet there was so much like light and beauty in these people, but they kept themselves inside a pretty small parameter and
Yep.
raised my mother in that environment. And then, she discovered the 70s and had kids at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, and now you get to go to work.
That's right.
That was a big sigh up because being at home with your children isn't work at all.
Right. Oh, yes. Exactly. Exactly. And I love my mothers out there because as there's no one like a mother.
No one like a mother.
No one like a mother. And this is not to say, I know there are plenty of people who've tried to become mothers and aren't able. And so this is nothing about,
No,
because
and
you are a mother. If you want to be a mother, you are a mother. That's my
yes.
belief, whether you have offspring or not.
Yeah.
Mothers are mothers because there's something in us that is just bigger than what any normal human being, you know,
Thinks they're
should.
capable of
Yeah,
doing.
exactly, are capable. And yet we still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a very wonderful partner, great father to my children, but we're wired differently. Mothers, and
Oh my
again,
God,
universal
wired.
mothers.
I had a little boy. He's 8.5 now. And not only is he a little boy, but he is a Scorpio and I'm a Taurus, so he opposes me. And I've worked with kids my whole life. I have my own, and I'm like, this kid is kicking my
Yes,
keister.
they
Oh
do.
my goodness. But I think he was two, and things didn't work out so well with his dad and I, but around that time when it was going up, I just stopped and I watched him. He's like 2.5. I was like, you guys really are wired
Yeah,
differently.
differently. Yeah. And of course, in that wiring, there's all kinds of variations because there are men who feel feminine, I love that gender is fading away. The two-party system is coming to an end with gender, with money, with color, with race, with politics. Just the systems that once worked are crashing, and it's okay. We
And it's
don't
also
totally know what.
king.
Oh,
It's the unknown
it
that's so
is.
terrifying. Well,
But I
who are we then with that, right? Ugh.
and then my brain almost just said we don't know what they're going to be replaced with. But the beauty is that maybe they don't need to be replaced. As I'm still learning to approach things more femininely,
Yeah,
creatively.
because I mean, and if we can, because I think I saw it online. I think you started a podcast and I started a
Yeah.
YouTube show around similar times. And I was like, what is Hollis Welsh up to? I am gonna have to have her on my show. But it's been so interesting in building this and,
Yeah.
focusing more on my own business and
Yeah.
practice. But I've noticed certain things. Oh, I need a business plan. I gotta
Yeah.
da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. And the work that I do is very non-linear.
Mm,
Um, scheduling and things of that
yeah.
nature. But I'm finding in these new times that the more I force myself, the less power I
Yeah.
have, right? And that force is like the masculine, and the power is where we express that, right? That
Yeah.
action. I'm the power, the power is in the plasma.
But it is the support
It
beneath
is the
the
support, but
systems. Yeah.
it's foreign to us. It's so foreign. So
Yeah.
just allowing that flow, or like if, I'm not normal, never have been, but like
Mm,
I can't force myself into building
yeah.
something because I know the structure's coming down, and what I'm
Mm,
building, I want it to be sustainable with all these new
love
things
it.
that are coming in, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone knows making your own garden right now is a
Mm,
really good idea if you can, or,
mm,
fulfilling your cup first. That's
yeah.
another misnomer, oh,
Mm,
if you fill your cup first, you're selfish.
mm,
And it's the complete
it
opposite. Like
is.
so much inversions
Yeah.
that
Yes.
taught were the proper and
Yeah.
right way to do things.
Yeah.
And unless you do some serious work and say, I no longer believe that and don't agree with it because something in my heart is telling me otherwise,
Mm,
you're going to get the opportunity to learn
yeah.
through obstacles and situations how to be that new person we are all becoming.
And the invitation is here now to simply do what Kristen has invited us to do. Put your hand on your hands on your heart once a day and breathe 5 times. It can start as simple as that. And I remember this was not too long ago when I reconnected with my heart, which sounds ridiculous because I'm
It does, because
51.
I'm like, you've always been connected
I
to your
know.
heart. You're one of the most
I
beautiful people I know.
I know. I am heart led, but when I really got in there and was like, "Oh, hi, oh, you! It's been a while," when I really went inside of it,
Mhm.
it was easy to get in there, and I was like, "Oh, it's been here all along." And yes, I've been connected to it, but disconnected at the same time. Because I've been giving my authority over to everything outside of myself, and
Mhm.
now's the time, my friends and these beautiful people who are watching and listening, to just start listening within. And if something pops up that seems crazy or out there or left field or not the way it's supposed to be, maybe consider just giving it a little more time or opportunity to guide you to pivot a little bit, right?
Or just try it out.
Yeah,
Just try
try
it
it out.
out. Just try. Like it, okay, well, give it your all, give it your best, just like
Mm,
we teach our kids. And it's like, wow, this feeling, I'm really wanting to, and get curious,
yeah, yeah.
like allow yourself to play with new ways of being. We're in Leo
Hmm.
season. The sun is, our hearts are getting activated because Leo rules the heart and the sun. And it's summertime, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us are home with our kids for summer break.
Mm-hmm.
Just try it out. Like you want your kids to try a new
Yeah,
something at dinner. Let's just try it.
yeah. Risk free,
Yeah.
risk free, and
What do you
and they'll
tell
be.
them? Because everything's going away anyway.
That's true. It does feel, and just trust that if there doesn't feel like a net, under that there is. It's because there's things I think kick in and try to get tighter and firmer before they give over.
That can be the fear.
Yeah.
Fear is always the thing, or anger or frustration. Um, and then the net is Gaia, our planet. The
Mm,
net is Mother Earth.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So, okay, we could talk. I could be here for 24 hours straight. Just
So
going down this beautiful conversation that is so ready to bubble up into the mainstream and just be more normalized.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's I love when I saw your podcast, I was like, oh, she has a different demographic than
Yeah.
I do for mine because I've been doing this for
Yes.
20 some odd years, being different. Well, I mean, I probably my whole life with
Yeah.
all the things, but like really stepping out as a light worker and, astrologer, sound healer,
Absolutely.
blah, blah.
You've been on the journey, and I'm excited to see where I'll be in 20 years, how
Well, yeah,
ascended I will be.
I think that's the thing. Okay, here, I'll just do the pitch for my show.
Okay, good. Yes.
Okay, so I have a YouTube show, everyone, that I just started in June, and this goddess I'm looking at right now is going to be my guest in, is
A
it
couple of 2 weeks or
2 weeks?
yeah, it's coming up.
Whatever. It's coming. It's in your future. We're psychic. We can see it. Um, but that show is Who Are You? And I want you to tell the story of your light working, because so many
Mm,
people, you're a light worker if you're trying to do good no matter what. So you
exactly.
don't have to be in the healing arts. You don't have to be in the quote unquote woo woo, which isn't woo woo. It's what we really are.
Exactly.
So I've started that show, and I'm so excited to have you on that
Mm,
in a few weeks. And you're I'm like, your light work and love walking and being a
mm,
good human is the work of the light.
yeah, it
And
is.
that's what we all said yes to, which is why we're all living and breathing together in this now.
And that's why it feels so aligned and empowered to come back, come full circle. Say, oh, yeah,
I love it. I
here I
love
am.
it. I'm like, you're already a light worker, sister. I see you.
Oh, I see you. And I'm going to, Kristin Reitter, REITTER.com. Kristin with two eyes.
K, two eyes so I can see.
There you go.
KRISTINREITTER. You can find all my information and services there. Hollis.
Do you do sound work through over Zoom or through
I
the?
do, and I
Okay,
have a free one on my YouTube page. That one I did up at the pool.
great.
There's a free sound healing session. You can listen there. I've got my sound healing album I created called Beyond Illusion.
Mm,
There is one for all the chakras on there. I'm like body painted in a
mm,
tree, and that is free
mm.
for people to listen to.
Okay.
That's at KA Writer or just Kristin Reitter. You'll see my
You'll,
face if you know what I look like.
great. Every if you're listening to this, it might be worth just watching it on YouTube because this woman is full of light. This is
Uh,
what a goddess looks like, shining bright from the inside out.
I am mirroring that right back to you, sister.
Mm.
Right back
Well,
to you.
I adore you.
Thank you so very much for this time and for inviting me here. And I'm so excited to be coming together. This is us coming together because we're creating a field
Yes. Yes, we
through
are.
Zoom.
There we go.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Whoop,
All
there
right.
it is. Whoop, there it is.
Okay. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in to Open That Door, and thank you for being my sacred guest. I love you. I adore you.
I love you too. Thank you so much with all my heart from the bottom of my heart.
I feel it.